Welcome to Learn English Fast.
Speak English with confidence.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. My name is Henry, and I'm very happy to be with you today. In this episode, we are going to talk about something very important: how to think smart and speak fluent in English. Now, maybe you have asked yourself this question before. Why is it so difficult to speak English fluently, even when I know many words? Or maybe you understand English when you listen, but when you try to speak, the words come slowly, or they don't come at all. The secret, my friends, is not only about learning grammar or learning hundreds of words. The secret is about how you think. If you train your brain to think smart, English will come out of your mouth more easily, more naturally, and more fluently. Today, I will show you step by step how to do this. We will talk about what it really means to think smart, why it is important, and how you can train yourself every day. I will also give you simple methods that you can start using right now, after this podcast, to make your English speaking more fluent. So, if you sometimes feel stuck when speaking, or if you want English to feel more natural in your brain, stay with me. This episode will help you think smarter and speak better. Are you ready? Let's begin. So, my friends, let's first answer this question. What does it really mean to think smart in English learning? When I say think smart, I don't mean you need to be a genius. I don't mean you need to study English 10 hours a day. Thinking smart simply means using simple, effective methods that help you learn faster and speak better. For example, many learners try to translate every single word from their own language into English. This is not smart because it makes your brain slow. You stop, you think, you translate, and then you speak. By the time you find the right word, the conversation has already moved on. Thinking smart means don't translate word by word. Instead, think in ideas and pictures. Let me give you an example. Imagine you want to say, "I am hungry." If you think smart, you don't translate from your native language. You simply connect the feeling of hunger in your body to the English phrase, "I am hungry." No translation, just idea. English words. This is smart thinking. It saves you time, and it helps your brain connect directly to English. Another part of thinking smart is focusing on what really matters. For fluency, you don't need to learn every difficult word in the dictionary. You don't need to know advanced grammar rules. Smart learners focus on simple, common words and sentences that they can use every day. So, in short, thinking smart means using English in a simple way, connecting ideas to words directly, and focusing on what is useful for your life. When you think this way, English becomes easier. And when English becomes easier, you can speak more fluently. Now, let's talk about why thinking smart is so important for fluency. Speaking English is not only about your mouth, it is also about your brain. The words you speak come from the way you think. If your thinking is slow, your speaking will also be slow. But if your thinking is smart and simple, your speaking becomes fast and fluent. Here's the problem. Many learners think in their native language first. They build the sentence in their own language, then they try to translate it into English. That takes time. And when you finally try to speak, the sentence may sound broken or unnatural. But when you think smart, you think directly in English. That means the words are ready in your brain, so they come out quickly when you speak. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you are at a restaurant, and the waiter asks, "What would you like to eat?" If you think in your native language, your brain first says, "Hmm, I want chicken and rice," in your language. Then you translate. Then you try to say, "I want chicken and rice, please." It takes time, but if you think smart, you train your brain to connect the picture of chicken and rice directly with the English words, "I want chicken and rice." No translation, no delay. You answer faster. You sound more fluent. So, the connection is simple. Smart thinking leads to faster speaking. Faster speaking feels like fluency. And remember this, fluency is not about speaking perfect English. It's about speaking English without long pauses, without too much translation, and with confidence. Thinking smart helps you do exactly that. All right, my friends, let's go to the first step, training your brain to think in English. This is the foundation. If you want to speak fluent English, you must first train your brain to create thoughts in English. Now, you may be asking, "Henry, how can I do that?" My brain always goes back to my native language. Don't worry, that is normal. But with practice, you can change this habit. Here are some simple ways to train your brain. First, stop translating word by word. Instead of building long sentences in your native language, start with short, easy English sentences. For example, I am walking. I am cooking. The sun is hot. These are simple thoughts, but they are powerful. When you repeat them in your mind, your brain begins to accept English as a natural language for thinking. Second, narrate your day in English. This is a very effective method. As you do daily activities, say them in English in your mind, or even out loud. For example, when you wake up, I am getting up. When you brush your teeth, I am brushing my teeth. When you go outside, I am walking to the bus. This turns your normal life into English practice. You don't need a classroom. You don't need a teacher. Your life becomes your teacher. Third, use pictures and ideas, not translations. When you see an apple, don't think of the word in your native language first. Just connect the picture of the apple directly to the English word, apple. Do this with everything around you: chair, phone, table, book. The more you connect pictures to English words, the faster your brain will think in English. And finally, practice every day, even for 5 minutes. Remember, your brain is like a muscle. If you train it every day, it becomes stronger. 5 minutes of daily English thinking is better than 1 hour once a week. So, to summarize, start with small English thoughts. Narrate your day, connect pictures to English words, and practice every day. This is how you train your brain to think in English. And once you think in English, speaking fluently will become much easier. Now let's move to Step 2. Build smart vocabulary for fluency. Vocabulary is like the bricks of a house. Without words, you cannot build sentences. But here's the key. To speak fluently, you don't need thousands of difficult words. You need the right words. Words that are useful in your daily life. Many learners make a mistake. They try to memorize long word lists from the dictionary. They learn words like ameliorate or meticulous, but in daily life, they never use them. That is not smart learning. Smart vocabulary means focus on simple, common, and useful words and phrases. For example, instead of learning only the word residence, learn the phrase, I live in an apartment. Instead of learning consume, learn the phrase I eat breakfast. Phrases are powerful because they are ready to use in real conversations. If you only know words, you may stop and think, how do I put these words together? But if you know a phrase, you can speak instantly. Here are some practical tips for building smart vocabulary. 1. Learn in groups. Group your words by topic: food, travel, work, hobbies. For example, for the food group, learn I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, let's eat lunch, can I have some water? These phrases are more useful than advanced food words that you may never say. 2. Learn from real life. Take the words from situations you face. If you often go shopping, learn phrases like, how much is this? Or, can I try this on? If you use English at work, learn the phrases for your job. This is smart, because you are preparing for real conversations. 3. Use and repeat. When you learn new words or phrases, don't just read them once. Use them in your speaking practice. Say them out loud. Make simple sentences with them. The more you use them, the more natural they become. So, remember, smart vocabulary is not about quantity. It's about quality. Learn the words and phrases that you will actually use, practice them often, and keep them simple. This will help you speak faster, with less thinking, and with more fluency. Okay, my friends, now let's move to step 3. Practice smart speaking. You see, speaking English is like learning to play a musical instrument. You cannot become fluent just by reading books or listening to lessons. You must practice using your voice. But remember, practicing smart is better than practicing hard. So, how can we practice smart speaking? Let me share some methods with you. First, speak simple sentences. Many learners try to make very long, complex sentences. They get stuck, they pause, and then they feel nervous. Smart speaking means starting simple. Instead of saying, yesterday, after finishing my homework, I decided to go out for dinner with my friends because I was hungry. You can simply say, I finished my homework. Then I went out for dinner with my friends. I was hungry, short, clear, and fluent. Over time, you can build longer sentences, but start small. Second, try the shadowing method. This is one of my favorite techniques. You listen to an English speaker, maybe in a podcast or video, and then you repeat after them, almost like an echo. For example, if the speaker says, I like to drink coffee in the morning, you repeat immediately, I like to drink coffee in the morning. This helps you copy natural pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. It's like training your mouth and brain together. Third, record yourself speaking. It might feel strange at first, but this is very powerful. When you record yourself, you can listen and hear your mistakes. You may notice that you pause too much, or that your pronunciation is not clear. Then you can fix it. Over time, your speaking will become smoother. Fourth, talk to yourself in English. Yes, talk to yourself. This is free and always available. Describe what you are doing. I am cooking rice. Or imagine conversations. Excuse me, can you help me? Self-talk builds confidence because you are practicing without fear of mistakes. And finally, don't be afraid of mistakes. Smart learners use mistakes as a tool. When you make a mistake, it shows you where to improve. Every mistake is progress, so instead of feeling embarrassed, feel proud that you are learning. So remember, Practice speaking every day, but practice smart. Use simple sentences, shadowing, recording, self-talk, and learn from your mistakes. This way, your English will become more natural and fluent step by step. Now, let's go to step 4. Smart thinking in real conversations. You see, practicing alone is important, but at some point, you must speak with real people. This is where many learners feel nervous. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if I don't understand the other person? Don't worry. With smart thinking, you can stay calm and speak with confidence. Here are some simple tips. First, listen before you speak. When you are in a conversation, don't rush. Take a second to listen carefully. Often, the answer is simple, and you don't need to think too much. Second, think in ideas, not grammar rules. Many learners stop and ask themselves, is this present perfect or past simple? Should I use a or the? But in a real conversation, grammar is not the most important thing. The idea is important. If your idea is clear, people will understand you. Third, use simple words. Don't try to find the most difficult word. If you forget a word, explain it in another way. For example, if you forget the word refrigerator, you can say, the place where I keep food cold. People will understand. That is smart speaking. Fourth, stay relaxed. When you feel nervous, your brain becomes slow. But when you stay calm, your brain works better. So take a deep breath, smile, and remember, you don't need perfect English. You just need clear communication. So, smart thinking in real conversations means listen first, focus on ideas, use simple words, and stay relaxed. If you do this, you will sound more fluent and confident in real life. My friends, before we finish, let me give you some final smart tips and a little motivation. Remember this: fluency is not about speaking perfect English. It is about speaking without fear, without long pauses, and with confidence. Smart learners know that mistakes are part of the journey. Every mistake is proof that you are practicing, and practice is the only road to fluency. So here are my final tips. Think smart, don't translate. Connect ideas directly to English. Keep it simple. Use short, clear sentences. Practice daily. Even 5 minutes every day is more powerful than 2 hours once a week. Focus on communication, not perfection. If people understand you, you are already successful. And most importantly, believe in yourself. You already have the ability to be fluent. The more you train your brain to think smart, the more natural your English will become. Step by step, your fluency will grow. So don't give up. Keep practicing. And remember, you are smarter than you think. And your English will get better every single day. All right, my friends, that's all for today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. I hope these steps help you think smart and speak more fluently in English. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Remember, fluency is a journey, and every small step you take brings you closer. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to come back next time for more simple and useful English learning tips. Until then, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep thinking smart. Take care, and see you in the next episode. Bye for now.